After 50, your body is not just aging on the outside. Deep inside, your cells may be losing some of their ability to repair damage, control inflammation, and defend against abnormal cell growth. You may feel it as slower recovery, less energy, brain fog, stiffness in the morning, blood sugar that does not behave the way it used to, or that quiet fear many people have but do not say out loud. What is happening inside my body that I cannot see? But there is an ancient seed, eaten for thousands of years in Asian kitchens, that may help support the very repair systems most people ignore. It is called Makhana. You may also hear it called fox nuts, lotus seeds, or by its scientific name, Euryale ferox. It is not a miracle cure. It is not a replacement for your doctor, but it is one of those simple foods that becomes much more interesting when you understand what it may be doing to inflammation, oxidative stress, blood sugar, and cellular health. I am Dr. Caleb Rowan, and today I want to show you what Makhana is, why it has gained attention in modern nutrition research, how it may support healthy aging after 50, and exactly how to eat it without making the common mistakes that turn a good food into just another processed snack. If you care about healthy aging, cancer prevention, and keeping your body strong after 50, take 1 second to hit the like button and subscribe, because by the end of this video, you will know how this seed works, how much to use, when to eat it, and who should be careful. Let me begin with the bigger problem, because the real story is not just about one seed. The real story is what happens to your body's repair system as the years go by. When you were younger, your body recovered almost automatically. You could sleep badly, eat poorly, overwork yourself, and somehow bounce back. Your muscles healed faster, your skin recovered faster, your immune system responded quickly, even your energy seemed to reset after a weekend of rest. But after 40, and especially after 50, many people begin to notice that the same body no longer forgives the same mistakes. A bad night of sleep can affect you for 2 days. A sugary meal can leave you tired and foggy. A small injury can take longer to heal. Inflammation that used to come and go can become something that seems to live in the background all the time. That matters because your body is constantly repairing itself. Every day, cells are damaged by normal metabolism, pollution, stress hormones, poor sleep, ultraviolet light, excess sugar, alcohol, smoking, ultra-processed foods, and chronic inflammation. Your body has systems designed to handle this. Stem cells help replenish and repair tissues. Immune cells patrol for threats. Antioxidant systems help neutralize free radicals. Apoptosis, which is programmed cell death, helps remove cells that are too damaged to safely continue. Think of it like a city. In a healthy city, there are repair crews, garbage collectors, firefighters, police officers, and power stations. When everything is working well, damage is handled quickly. But if the repair crews are understaffed, the garbage is not removed, fires are smoldering in every neighborhood, and the power grid is unstable, the whole city becomes more vulnerable. That is what chronic inflammation can do inside the body. It does not always feel dramatic at first. It may show up as fatigue, stiffness, belly fat, poor sleep, blood sugar problems, high blood pressure, brain fog, or slower healing. But biologically, chronic inflammation can place constant pressure on your repair systems. It can disturb immune surveillance, increase oxidative stress, and create an internal environment where damaged cells are more likely to survive longer than they should. This is why cancer prevention is not only about destroying cancer cells. That is too simple. Real prevention is also about the terrain of the body. It is about lowering chronic inflammation, supporting normal immune function, keeping blood sugar more stable, protecting healthy cells from oxidative damage, and giving your body the nutrients it needs to maintain normal repair. No food can guarantee protection. No seed can make you cancer-proof. But the pattern of what you eat every day can either push your body toward a more inflamed, unstable environment or toward a more resilient one. That is where Makhana becomes interesting. Makhana looks simple. It is light, white, crunchy when roasted, and almost like popcorn in texture. But it comes from an aquatic plant that grows in wetlands across parts of India and Asia. In India, it has been eaten for generations as a fasting food, a snack, and a traditional health food. In traditional systems such as Ayurveda and Chinese medicine, seeds from aquatic plants like lotus and related species have long been valued for nourishment, strength, and vitality. Now, traditional use alone does not prove a medical claim. I want to be very clear about that, but it does tell us something important. Foods do not stay in traditional diets for thousands of years unless people notice that they are useful, satisfying, and compatible with daily life. Modern science then helps us ask a better question. What is actually inside this food that might explain why it has been valued for so long? Nutritionally, makhana is a low-fat, plant-based food that contains carbohydrates, some protein, and important minerals such as magnesium, potassium, phosphorus, and zinc. It is naturally very low in saturated fat, and when it is dry roasted instead of fried, it can be a much better choice than many common snacks like chips, cookies, crackers, sugary cereal, or pastries. But the more interesting part is not only the basic nutrition. Makhana contains plant compounds that have attracted scientific attention, including polyphenols, flavonoids such as kaempferol, and quercetin-related compounds, and polysaccharides. These are the kinds of compounds researchers study because they may influence oxidative stress, inflammation, cellular signaling, and metabolism. Again, that does not mean eating one bowl of makhana switches on a magical healing program. That is not how biology works. But it does mean makhana belongs in a category of foods that may support a healthier internal environment when used consistently as part of an overall healthy diet. So let us talk about the first major reason people are paying attention to this seed: your body's repair system. You will often hear people online say that a food activates stem cells or triples stem cells. Those claims can be exciting, but they can also be misleading if they make it sound like a single food acts like a drug in humans. Stem cell biology is much more complex. Stem cells do not live in isolation. They live in what scientists call a niche, a local environment that tells them when to rest, when to divide, and when to help repair tissue. That environment is influenced by many things: inflammation, blood sugar, insulin sensitivity, sleep, physical activity, protein intake, micronutrients, stress hormones, and oxidative damage. If the environment is inflamed and metabolically unhealthy, repair signals can become weaker. If the environment is calmer and better nourished, the body may have a better chance of maintaining normal repair. This is the safer and more accurate way to understand makhana. It may help support the environment that your repair systems depend on. Its polyphenols may help reduce oxidative stress. Its minerals may support normal cellular function. Its low-fat, minimally processed form may make it a better snack choice for people trying to reduce inflammatory foods. And if it replaces sugar-heavy snacks, that alone can make a meaningful difference over time. Kaempferol, one of the flavonoids associated with makhana and many other plant foods, has been studied for its antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties. Quercetin-related compounds are also widely studied in nutrition science for how they may interact with inflammation and cellular stress pathways. Polysaccharides from plant foods are another area of interest because they may influence immune activity and gut-related signaling. But I want you to hear this clearly. The goal is not to chase one isolated compound. The goal is to build a daily food pattern that makes your body less burdened. A repair system cannot do its job if every meal creates another wave of inflammation, another blood sugar spike, another poor night of sleep, and another day of nutrient deficiency. If you are over 50 and you want stronger repair, start thinking less about miracle foods and more about repair conditions. Does this food help me stay full without a sugar crash? Does it provide minerals my body needs? Does it replace something worse? Does it fit into my life consistently? Does it help me move toward a calmer internal environment? Makhana can answer yes to several of those questions when it is prepared correctly. Now let us address the most sensitive and most important claim. Can a food really starve cancer cells? The honest answer is this: not like a medication, not like chemotherapy, not like radiation, and not in a way that allows anyone to ignore screening or treatment. But the foods you eat can influence the environment in which cells live. And that environment matters. Cancer development is not usually a single event. It is a process. Cells accumulate damage. Some cells fail to repair that damage properly. Some escape normal control signals. Some avoid apoptosis, the self-destruct program that should remove cells that are too damaged. Some begin to manipulate their surroundings, including the growth of new blood vessels, a process called angiogenesis, which can help tumors receive nutrients and oxygen. When people say starve cancer, they are often referring to this idea of making the internal environment less favorable for abnormal cells to grow. But we have to be careful. You cannot starve cancer by eating one food. You cannot treat cancer by adding one seed to your breakfast. That kind of claim is not only scientifically weak, it can be dangerous if it causes someone to delay real medical care. What we can say is that certain compounds found in plant foods, including flavonoids like quercetin and kaempferol, have been studied in laboratory settings for how they may influence oxidative stress, inflammation, apoptosis, and angiogenesis. In a petri dish or animal model, scientists can look at how these compounds interact with cancer-related pathways. That is valuable research, but it is not the same as proving that eating makhana cures cancer in a human body. The human body is much more complicated. Digestion changes, compounds, absorption varies from person to person, dose matters, genetics matter, the gut microbiome matters, medications matter, and cancer itself is not one disease, it is many diseases with many different behaviors. So here is the practical takeaway. Makhana should not be seen as a cancer treatment. It should be seen as one possible part of a diet pattern that supports lower inflammation, better metabolic health, and healthier cellular conditions. That means more plant foods, more fiber, more minerals, more stable blood sugar, less ultra-processed food, less added sugar, less excess alcohol, and more consistency. If you are currently being treated for cancer, you do not replace your medical plan with Makhana. You discuss your diet with your oncology team. If you are trying to reduce your future risk, you use foods like this as part of the larger foundation: regular screening, healthy body weight, movement, sleep, not smoking, limiting alcohol, and eating in a way that lowers chronic inflammation. This is where the power of food is real, but it is not magic. Food works through repetition. Food works through patterns. Food works because what you eat every day becomes the chemical environment your cells live in. And that brings us to aging. One of the easiest ways to understand aging is to picture rust. When metal is exposed to oxygen and moisture over time, it begins to corrode. Inside the body, oxidative stress is not exactly rust, but the analogy helps. Your cells produce reactive molecules as part of normal metabolism. Your body also has antioxidant defenses to keep those molecules under control. But when the balance tips too far toward oxidative stress, cells, proteins, fats, and DNA can be damaged more quickly. Inflammation adds another layer. Acute inflammation can save your life. If you cut your finger or get an infection, inflammation brings immune cells to the area and helps you heal. But chronic, low-grade inflammation is different. It is like having a fire alarm that never shuts off. Over time, that constant signal can wear down tissues, disturb metabolism, and accelerate many of the processes we associate with aging. This is why many people do not simply wake up old one day. They gradually become more inflamed, more insulin resistant, less physically active, more sleep deprived, and more depleted in key nutrients. The result is not just wrinkles. It can be less muscle, less mobility, less energy, poorer memory, weaker immune response, and less confidence in daily life. Polyphenol-rich foods may help because they support the body's antioxidant network and can influence inflammatory signaling. This does not mean they reverse aging overnight. It means they may support healthier aging markers when they are combined with the things that matter most: a better diet, regular walking or resistance exercise, quality sleep, stress control, and maintaining a healthy weight. Makhana fits nicely here because it can replace snacks that actively push people in the wrong direction. Think about the usual evening snack in many homes: potato chips, sweet crackers, cookies, candy, ice cream, or cereal eaten straight from the box. These foods are easy to overeat. They often combine refined starch, added sugar, salt, and processed fats in a way that keeps you reaching for more. For someone over 50, that can mean more blood sugar swings, more cravings, more weight gain around the middle, and more inflammation over time. A bowl of dry roasted makhana is not perfect, and it is not calorie-free, but it is a very different choice. It is lighter, lower in fat when prepared properly, and easier to flavor in a way that supports your goals instead of sabotaging them. That substitution may sound small, but small daily substitutions are exactly how people change their biology over months and years. Now let us talk about the brain, blood sugar, and heart, because this is where many people over 50 will feel the difference first. Brain fog is one of the most common complaints I hear from adults in midlife and older age. People say, "I walk into a room and forget why I went there. I cannot focus in the afternoon. My memory is not what it used to be. I feel mentally tired even when I did not do much." Sometimes that is related to sleep apnea, medications, thyroid problems, depression, vitamin deficiencies, or neurological disease, so it should not be ignored. But very often, everyday brain fog is also connected to unstable blood sugar, dehydration, poor sleep, low physical activity, chronic stress, and inflammatory eating patterns. A high-sugar snack may give you energy for 20 minutes, then leave you foggy and tired afterward. A refined carb breakfast may feel comforting, then trigger cravings 2 hours later. When this happens day after day, the brain feels the instability. Your brain uses a lot of energy, and it performs better when that energy supply is steady. Makhana may help because it can act as a more blood sugar-friendly snack compared with many refined snack foods, especially when you pair it with protein or healthy fat. It is still a carbohydrate-containing food, so people with diabetes need to pay attention to portions and monitor their response. But compared with cookies, chips, sweet cereals, or pastries, dry roasted makhana can be a smarter option. For the heart, the story is similar. Your heart does not need one superfood. Your heart needs a pattern that supports healthy blood pressure, healthy blood vessels, stable blood sugar, healthy body weight, and lower inflammation. Magnesium and potassium are important minerals involved in muscle and nerve function, and they play roles in cardiovascular health. Makhana contains these minerals, though it should not be treated like a potassium or magnesium supplement. The bigger benefit may come from replacement. If makhana replaces a salty fried snack, a sugary dessert, or a late-night processed food habit, it may help reduce the dietary patterns that push blood pressure, weight, and blood sugar in the wrong direction. That is not glamorous, but it is powerful. Many people do not need a more complicated diet. They need a few reliable swaps that they can actually repeat. This is why I like makhana for people over 50. It is not because it is exotic. It is because it can be practical. It can be crunchy, satisfying, simple to prepare, and easy to use in the exact moments when people usually reach for something that hurts their goals. Now, let me give you the actual protocol, because this is where most people get it wrong. A reasonable serving is about 1 cup of puffed makhana, or roughly 20 to 30 grams per day. You do not need a giant bowl. You do not need to eat it 3 times a day. More is not automatically better. In nutrition, the best dose is often the one you can use consistently without crowding out other important foods. For most people, the best time is either in the morning as part of breakfast or in the afternoon when cravings usually hit. If your weakness is a sugary afternoon snack, use makhana there. If your weakness is late-night chips, use it earlier in the evening before you become overly hungry. If you tend to skip breakfast and then overeat later, you can use it as part of a balanced morning meal. But please do not take a healthy seed and turn it into junk food. The most common mistake is buying versions that are fried in too much oil, coated in sugar, covered in heavy seasoning, or so salty that they become no better than chips. The second mistake is eating directly from a large bag without measuring. Even healthy foods can become a problem when portions disappear. The simplest method is dry roasted makhana. Put a pan on medium-low heat. Add the makhana without oil. Stir for about 5 to 7 minutes until it becomes crisp. Then, at the end, add a very small amount of ghee or olive oil if you like, just enough to help seasoning stick. Add a pinch of salt, or use turmeric, black pepper, cinnamon, cumin, paprika, or garlic powder, depending on your taste. The key is light seasoning, not drowning it. This version is excellent as an afternoon snack. It gives you crunch, but without the same processed food trap as chips or crackers. If you want to make it more filling, pair it with a boiled egg, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, a handful of nuts, or a cup of unsweetened tea. That combination can help slow digestion and keep you satisfied longer. Another option is makhana with warm milk. This can be useful for people who want something gentle in the evening. You can crush or lightly grind the makhana, simmer it in warm milk or unsweetened plant-based milk, and add cinnamon or a little turmeric. Keep it unsweetened or only lightly sweetened if your blood sugar allows. This is not a magic nighttime repair drink, but it can be a comforting, more nourishing alternative to cookies, ice cream, or sugary cereal before bed. A third option is a blood sugar-friendly makhana bowl. Use plain Greek yogurt or unsweetened plant-based yogurt. Add a small portion of roasted makhana for crunch, sprinkle cinnamon, and add a few berries. This gives you protein, texture, polyphenols from the berries, and a much better balance than a sweet breakfast cereal. For someone over 50, trying to protect muscle, manage cravings, and avoid afternoon crashes, this is the kind of simple meal that can work in real life. You can also use makhana in soups, trail mixes, or as a topping on salads, but keep the same rule: do not let the preparation cancel the benefit. If it is fried, sugary, and salty, your body does not care that the original ingredient was healthy. Now, I want to make this real with a story, because food advice only matters if it fits into a human life. Imagine a 6-2-year-old woman who comes in saying, "Doctor, I do not feel sick, but I do not feel well either." She is tired by mid-afternoon. Her memory feels slower. She sleeps, but wakes up unrefreshed. She eats a small breakfast. Then around 3 p.m., she reaches for cookies, crackers, or something sweet because she feels she needs energy. By dinner, she is hungry again. At night, she feels guilty and tells herself she will do better tomorrow. Nothing in that story sounds dramatic, but repeat it for months or years and the body begins to respond. Blood sugar swings become more common, weight creeps up, inflammation rises, energy drops, confidence drops, and the person begins to think, maybe this is just aging. Now imagine she makes one small change. She does not overhaul her entire life in one day. She simply replaces the afternoon sugary snack with one measured cup of dry roasted makhana, lightly seasoned, and pairs it with a protein food or unsweetened tea. She starts walking 20 minutes after lunch or dinner. She stops eating straight from boxes at night. She goes to bed 30 minutes earlier. Not perfect, just better. After a few weeks, she may notice that the 3 p.m. crash is not as intense. She may feel fewer cravings. She may feel more stable between meals. She may begin walking a little farther because she has more confidence. That is how change often begins. Not with a miracle, but with one repeatable decision that gives the body less stress and more support. And this is the part I want you to remember. Makhana did not do everything. The habit did. The pattern did. The replacement did. The seed became a doorway into a better routine. That is how food becomes medicine in the practical sense. Not because it replaces medical care, but because it changes the signals your body receives every day. Before you try it, let me tell you who should be careful. If you are being treated for cancer, Makhana is not a treatment. Do not stop, delay, or replace chemotherapy, radiation, immunotherapy, surgery, screening, or any medication because of a food you heard about online. Use nutrition as support and discuss major dietary changes with your oncology team. If you have kidney disease or have been told to monitor potassium, phosphorus, or minerals, speak with your doctor or renal dietitian before making Makhana a daily habit. If you take blood thinners, have a complex medical condition, or are on a restricted diet, ask your clinician whether it fits your plan. If you have diabetes, remember that Makhana still contains carbohydrates, so check your portion and monitor your glucose response. And for everyone, quality matters. Choose plain Makhana when possible. Roast it yourself. Keep the serving measured. Avoid versions that are deep-fried, sugar-coated, or overloaded with salt. The goal is not to add another snack. The goal is to replace a worse snack with a better one. So what should you take away from all of this? Makhana is an ancient seed with a modern reason to pay attention. It contains minerals and plant compounds that may support a healthier internal environment. It may help you move away from ultra-processed snacks. It may support steadier energy, better snack control, and a diet pattern that is friendlier to blood sugar, inflammation, and healthy aging. It is not a cancer cure. It is not a stem cell miracle. It is not a substitute for medical care. But for many people over 50, it can be one small daily habit that helps the body move in the right direction. And sometimes, that is exactly what health is built from. Not one dramatic breakthrough, but a series of simple choices that your cells experience every single day. A better snack, a calmer blood sugar response, a little less inflammation, a walk after dinner, better sleep, more protein, more plants, fewer processed foods. You do that long enough, and the body often starts to feel different. If you want to try Makhana, start simply. Use 1 cup of plain, dry roasted Makhana 3 to 5 times this week. Do not add sugar. Do not drown it in oil. Pair it with protein if you need more fullness. Notice your cravings, your afternoon energy, and how you feel between meals. Let your own body give you feedback. If you want more simple foods that may help your body age stronger after 50, subscribe to Dr. Caleb Rowan, and comment seed below if you want a simple 7-day Makhana recipe plan. Share this video with someone over 50 who is trying to eat better but feels overwhelmed by complicated health advice. They may not need another expensive supplement. They may just need one simple place to start. In the next video, I will show you another everyday food that may support mitochondria, energy, and healthy aging after 50. And most people are eating it the wrong way. Until then, take care of yourself, keep your habits simple, and remember this: your body is listening to what you do every day, especially when the changes seem small.